"I'm not stupid," King Charles III, then the Prince of Wales, said in 2018. "I do realise that it is a separate exercise being sovereign." He was speaking during a BBC documentary to mark his 70th birthday, expressing his frustration that people thought he could not, or would not, differentiate between the roles of monarch and Prince of Wales. Concerns came, in part, as a result of his reputation as a rebel prince. Previously described as a meddler, his opinions were well known on subjects including architecture, climate change, alternative medicine and sustainable agriculture. His passionate speeches, along with his notorious Black Spider memos, dispatched to ministers, business leaders and others in power, have led to some apprehension about the possibility of Charles being an activist king. And now, with the newly crowned monarch after his coronation on Saturday, journalist and filmmaker Tom Jennings has suggested the rebel prince may make a comeback. While appearing as a guest on the Royally Us podcast, Mr. Jennings was asked if he thought Charles would still be that rebel prince, as king, or will he follow in his mother's footsteps. The documentary maker, whose latest project, Charles, in his own words, digs deep into the story of the king, said, "It'll definitely be a mix of both." He explained, "I'm leaning towards the rebel prince but with a slow burn, long game point of view. I think he's going to modernize the monarchy, slim it down and make it feel more contemporary. He does love things from the past. I think the vestiges of the look and the vibe of the past will be somehow incorporated into our present. And I think it will be a mix of both, for now. But my prediction is, watch as he succeeds, watch it ramp up, and up until we see Rebel Prince in full." Don't miss. King Charles Ives' staggering income beats all other world leaders. Insight, Prince Harry found support in comfortable zone at coronation. Latest poll, who was your favorite royal during the coronation weekend? Poll, King Charles and Queen Camilla shock royal fans with live appearance on US TV. King Charles III and Queen Camilla have made a surprise appearance on American Idol following the historic coronation held last weekend. The royals were welcomed onto the show by Katy Perry and Lionel Richie, who both performed at Sunday's coronation concert. Similarly, the king's former butler claimed Charles will be a sovereign that is both traditionalist and modernist. Grand Herald, who worked for Charles for 7 years, claimed in order for the institution to survive, it will have to evolve and modernize, while also upholding some of the pomp and circumstance the public has come to expect. Charles is tasked with bridging the gap between the reign of his adored mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and his celebrity-like son, Prince William, who will one day inherit the throne. Mr. Herald, speaking to Slingo, said, "There's going to be a transition going on once the Queen has gone and before Prince William's reign. Charles is going to be a big part of that. It's going to be a huge change. Charles will be the gap between those two. It has to modernize, the royals have to be like you and me, but they do have to keep tradition too, if not for tourism, that's all about pomp and circumstance." Although we see William and Kate sitting on the floor, high-fiving and laughing, we also see them carrying out the official processions, but because we know the real them, they're down to earth and approachable. When we see the more traditional side, we love that. He added, "They're not aloof, they're not above us, they're not better than us, that's just them putting on their uniform, going to work and doing an official thing for the people." And for Charles, it'll be a mixture of both. "We'll see a king that is traditional but a little bit of a modernist too. That little bit of tradition he will pass on to William. While William will be a very modernistic monarch, almost celebrity-like as that's the way it seems to be becoming, he'll still have elements of the old tradition and etiquette, and that'll be thanks to his father and his grandmother. Charles and his wife Camilla's coronation, on May 6, was the first major indicator of how the king intends to modernize the monarchy to suit the 21st century. As Buckingham Palace explained, while the ceremony was complete with ancient traditions, it also looked towards the future. It was a scaled-back affair, with fewer people in attendance and a shorter service and procession. There was a greater effort to make the service more inclusive, with the guest reducing capacity for peers and peeresses, instead extending the invitation to the country's unsung heroes, and the service was reflective of Britain's diversity, perhaps most notably through the inclusion of a diverse array of faith leaders. Charles's coronation was the most diverse in the 1,000-year history of the ceremony, and Jonathan Dimbleby, a friend and biographer of the king, suggested this week the service embodied the king's determination to modernize the monarchy. He sees his role, I think, I have talked about it with him, as doing his best to achieve a sense of overarching harmony in a very diverse and often rather troubled, often divided United Kingdom, Mr. Dimbleby told BBC Radio 4's Today programme earlier this month. That's what will be his lodestar, his guiding sense of duty. Describing Charles as a 21st century person. As monarch, Charles will focus on diversity and harmony in the country, leading as a monarch for our times, Mr. Dimbleby said.
Now take